to all the opera lovers all around the world, and welcome to the Opera Chat with Martinovich couple. My name is Diane Martinovich, and this is my husband, Boris Martinovich. Boris, are you there?
I'm here.
And we will
Welcome,
be your
everybody.
host. Yeah, we will be your host tonight. The Opera Chat with Martinovich couple is live streaming online broadcasted talk show, hosting the leading people from the world of opera, classical music, theater, movie, film, and culture. We are here to educate you, to inspire you, to entertain you, and to present you all the wonderful artists and art supporters all around the world whose wonderful performances and artistic creations and initiatives definitely make this world a better place. I'm very, very happy and honored to have our two wonderful female guests and artists and wonderful ladies today with us. And I'm especially honored to present you our first guest. Originally, she comes from Bilbao, from Spain. She was assistant conductor of Maestro Rostropovich at the Vienna State Opera, Staatsoper Wien. She's working with the singers of the highest level, such as Placido Domingo, with stage directors such as Werner Herzog and Cesare Levi, countless outstanding productions at the Opéra de Bastille in Paris, Grand Theatre in Limoges, the Bonn Opera and the Vienna State Opera, as well as in many productions of Salzburg Festspiele. She has also been head of the singing at the Vienna Chamber Opera and later appointed music director of the Lyric Theatre in St. Petersburg, Austria. She's also collaborator of the newspaper El Correo in Spain, a professor in the opera and operetta department of the Vienna Conservatory. She's artistic and musical director of various international projects, specializing in dissemination of contemporary music, as well as professor in the opera department of the Musicene Music Center in San Sebastian. But before I announce her name and invite her to join us in the studio, let's listen one of her extraordinary performances. I'm very honored and very pleased to present you our first guest, Mrs. Gabriela de Esteban, conductor and director. Hello and welcome to our chat show. It's a pleasure and honor to have you here.
Hello, Diane. Hello, buddies. The pleasure is mine.
You're welcome. How are you?
Fine. I am in Madrid now, and we have a very sunny day.
Great, wonderful. So we were listening to one of your performances with Bratislava Guitar Quintet. Can you tell us a little bit more about the video? Where was it and what was the occasion?
Well, at this time, if I recall, it was something like 2011. Can you imagine? I was young, and it was in Bratislava, Slovakia. The occasion was the closure of the international competition of guitar in Bratislava.
Yes,
if I recall, the orchestra was the Chilena Opera Orchestra.
Wonderful. We saw that the video was private one. Someone made it privately.
Yes,
but the music
was a surprise.
Yes, it's a surprise, but the music is so wonderful that we had to play it.
Very, very, very Spanish. Let's say in general, as Rodrigo composed a lot of music for guitar, it's normal to find that in all the competitions of guitar.
Yes. When I was reading your wonderful, impressive biography, I couldn't help wondering, was it difficult for you as a female conductor to clear your path and to find your place and to build such a successful and strong career in the world of conductors? Because we all know there are much more male conductors than female. Can you tell us about your road? How was it, your road to success? What were the challenges and what were the roadblocks?
Well, let's say I have a certain age, and considering your question about the difficulty of being a woman conductor, I can only tell you that in the time when I was a student in Paris, we were an extreme minority, and sincerely, the appreciation and help of the most of the male partners was absolutely null. Positive thing is going to the beginning of the professional life, of course, was not precisely easy, because it was a time where it was not very used, very normal, consider a woman, a female conductor. But it took me that I saw myself in this beginning of my professional life. I saw myself in some perplexed and difficult situations, considering that time and that the movement Me Too did not exist at all in this time. Yes, it's difficult to, at least it was much more difficult in my beginning, of my time. And in general, I can say that with orchestra musicians, singers, and soloists, I have never had any problems. It is commonly accepted that if you know exactly what you are doing, you will be respected at all times.
Yes.
Another very different thing is if we talk the people around artists. That's another story.
Yes. Boris told me once that you met like 30 years ago, and it was so wonderful.
Already?
Wonderful. Yes.
Oh dear.
And I feel it was yesterday.
Me too. Absolutely. Me too.
We had a wonderful cast, of course, and it was an incredible experience. We were making a recording CD of Il Guarani with Plácido Domingo.
Absolutely, it was Plácido Domingo. It was Villarroel as a soprano, extremely funny soprano.
Absolutely.
It was another Spanish one. Sorry.
Yes.
It was another Spanish one, which was Carlos Álvarez.
Carlos Álvarez, who's doing a wonderful career.
Absolutely. He just sent me a message some days ago to congratulate for the Women's Day, the 8th of
Good,
March.
good.
He's so touchful, really. He's amazing. And really, we were a long time in Bonn Opera and really having a lot of fun, but also a lot of work because Il Guarani at this time was not played since dozens of years.
Many, yes. Since Caruso, I think, sang it at the Met or something like that. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, something like that. And it was very amazing working also with Werner Herzog, which is a big figure. And and of course with you.
Oh, thank you.
You had one of the main parts.
We then did it in Washington, D.C. afterwards. And which actually the Metropolitan was interested in having this production, and even in Manaus. But Brazil at that time was a little financially off, and it didn't work out. But hopefully someday we will rerun those performances of Guarani. I think it's a very interesting opera.
It's very interesting and it's very beautiful. And just a pity it's not really played more often.
Yeah, it's true.
Yes, I think so too. Well, I'm, as being female and woman myself, I'm always very curious and having the pleasure when I have a chance to talk with a successful woman and professionals as you are. I just want to ask you, it seems to me that there are much more female conductors in symphony and instrumental music than in opera. So what can you say about this? Is this the truth? And why do you think this is the situation?
Well, it's a little bit complex and very difficult to make a resume in so few time. But the problem already you have in the studies of conducting, which really are difficult, let's say, which is absolutely normal. And most of the programs of studying of the curriculum is classical music and for all symphonic music. Then young conductors has not very much the opportunity to conduct the voices, to have really the experience with voices. Then opera is always seen as this thing that is there, that is extremely complex because you have down the orchestra, up you have soloists, up you have choir, up you have dancers, up you have everybody. I mean, everybody. Then really, when you are not having from the beginning a big experience in opera, coming from symphonic to opera is quite difficult, It's not only that you need to have an impeccable conducting technique, but you need to have a very open mind to change immediately if something happens. And you know that in opera, constantly something is happening. And you know that in opera, we are ready that all the most big catastrophes arrives. And in general, they don't tell you that before. I mean, you are down, you have all the musicians, and up starts to happen things that you say, okay, let's resolve all that. And you can just not stop all that and think. You need really to divide your mind in letting go through all the problems and at the same time resolve them.
Yes, exactly.
That when you are with all the orchestra and symphonic is difficult, let's say. But when you have to see and you have to deal with all what is happening in a stage, really you need to have a good practical knowledge that what is happening there. You need to know the vocal technique, very, very well. If not, you are lost in opera.
And
That
then
is
there are
something-
divas and specialty tenors to deal with, right? We must mention this. But anyway, which is part of opera, and that's why we love it, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. After during the night in the hotel, we make some voodoo techniques, with these divas. But
You know, when they asked Toscanini, how do you start conducting the especially difficult parts of beginning of La Boheme, because pa-da-pa-pam, so it starts off offbeat, and he says, well, I pray. When I give them the downbeat, they come in.
Well, if it helps you, he's not the only one to pray.
I know.
I mean, there are moments, amazing moments. I tell you, I was in one production, and the curtains had to open at the end of the Overtura. I arrived to the end of the Overtura, in general, is something like 10 bars before. I arrived 10 bars before, nothing happens. 5 bars before, nothing happens. I have this feeling that nothing will happen on the stage. I just, shrink completely, and I just shout to all the orchestra, "Da capo!" I just got up. When I arrived to the last bar, I closed it, and I started again the Overtura. I tell you, I was the hero of the technicians. When I finished the opera and I went backstage, I received so many kisses, because I used to save them their arse.
Yeah, you saved the opera.
Yes,
that's good.
When I say symphonic in general, will not happen that. Symphonic, they have the orchestra, they arrive, they play, they leave. If they have the soloist, it's wonderful. They don't move. They don't go and you.
They don't go in and out and come and go and.
Yes, the aria is approaching and you don't see your soloist. You know how suddenly your heart is beating the double of time, and you are without air, and you are thinking, where in hell is him?
Exactly. I also read somewhere. Sorry for interrupting you. Please.
No. Please go.
I also read somewhere what was also very interesting for me, because I'm a singer as well, that you have a major interest in nurturing and performing contemporary operas. And before you tell us a little bit more about it, I would like to play one of your videos. It's also one contemporary opera, and I would like to ask you to tell us a little bit more about it after we play your video.
Okay.
You do look, my son, in a mood sort, as if you were dismayed. Be cheerful, sir. Our revels are now ended. These our actors, as I foretold you, were all spirits and are melted into air, into thin air. And like the baseless fabric of this vision, the cloud-capped towers, the gorgeous palaces, the solemn temples, the great globe itself, yea, all which inherit shall dissolve, and like this insubstantial pageant faded, leave not a wrack behind. We are such stuff as dreams are made of, and our little life is rounded with a sleep. Sir, I am vexed. Bear with my weakness, my old brain is troubled. Be not disturbed with my infirmity. If you be pleased, retire into my cell, and there repose. A turn or two I walk, to still my weak mind.
We are back in the studio. Wow, that was very interesting piece. Can you tell us a little bit more about it? What was it and what was the occasion?
Well, it's a piece about text of William Shakespeare, and the composer Kaja Saariaho from Finland visited Spain last year, and before all the COVID and all this stuff arrived here, and I prepare a concert with his vocal pieces, and that is one of them. The most interesting part of that is that this year 2021 the gold lion of the Biennale di Venezia in Italy, she got the award. And it's really fantastic. Such
yes.
a poetic and wonderful music, wonderful person, and let's not forget a female.
Yes, wonderful.
It's always
yes.
welcome.
Gabriela, sorry,
yes.
honey. Gabriela,
Okay.
you probably don't know that I started my career not as a singer, but as a composer. And
Don't
I
tell
was
me
composing.
you wrote an opera.
No, I didn't,
No,
but I was writing for orchestra.
He's writing.
When I was 12, 13 years old, I started already writing, and I wrote some pieces for orchestra, some for piano, and some. I didn't write vocal music, which is interesting. And then I started singing, and when I was 16. So this year is going to be 50 years of celebration. And I did the Barber. I did Don Basilio in the Barber of Seville, which is amazing. But then what happened is that I got so busy singing, I had no time for composing. And I said to myself, I will have time when I get old, but still that time hasn't come yet.
Maybe because you're not that old.
I have a fantastic idea to write an opera. And I started writing the libretto. And the music is coming, and soon enough I'll start little by little try to finish the opera.
That would be a great idea, because it's already several years that every year I command to a composer to write me an opera, a pocket opera, not very long, but a contemporary opera. Then you are next in the list.
All right.
Well, then I can have a question for you both. How popular is contemporary music today? Contemporary opera today? Is it popular enough? How popular is contemporary opera today? Yes.
Boris,
what do you think, sir?
Boris, do you answer to this difficult question?
No, it's not difficult. It's actually not popular because the audiences are not there. Unfortunately, some cases the people are very interested to find something new, and usually they are less modern, which works quite like say in the standard of Giancarlo Menotti. I did a lot of his operas and works and recorded some of them, and they are mostly like Puccini. So when you have melodies, their audiences react much better. When it's something atonal, for example, totally modern, they don't go for that. It's not their cup of tea. There's a very few audiences for that.
Absolutely.
You're right. You agree with me. Okay.
Absolutely, you are completely right. But let me say, contemporary opera is changing a lot in the last years in the theater programs, in the repertory they play. Thanks God, we are attending an inclusion in the repertory of the most renowned theaters. I mean, just beginning of this week, I was attending in Barcelona a new production of George Benjamin, who was also the winner of the Gold Lion in the Biennale di Venezia last year, of his new opera called Love. Oh God, I forgot already the name.
No problem.
Thank you. Sure, after that it will come. It will come
to you. But tell us about it. This is a full opera. How long is it?
the opera of George Benjamin. It was very good because in general and now contemporary composers, modern composers, don't go over 1 hour and 1 hour 15, 1 hour and a half.
Okay,
Then
which is good.
for public it's getting more and more easy. I also think that most of the productions in general are a conjunction of different things. You have a lot of multimedia productions who has much more amplitude on the stage to make it the operas easily. But for all those who only swear by classic productions, they don't have to forget that the composers that you love so much now, they were modern in their times.
Exactly.
For that, I would really like to ask the public to give an opportunity to modern productions. There are ones that are really difficult in the music, difficult in the writing, difficult in everything. But there are another ones that are really very, very good.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And how the singers are the singers because most of the singers are going to school to have a bel canto voice technique.
Yes.
And how difficult is for singers with bel canto to sing contemporary music? And is it difficult? And is there any difference in voice technique when singing a bel canto repertoire and when singing contemporary opera repertoire?
I guess you are asking me, are the young singers today prepared to really
perform,
get out from the music school and do contemporary music?
Yes.
Sadly, no. Sadly, no.
And why is that?
Today we find an extremely reduced and classical pedagogical curriculum in the schools, due in part to the teachers that they are not prepared for it. They do not know most of the repertoire, the modern repertoire, and the extended techniques. As they have not the experience, they don't know how to approach it themselves. Then if they cannot do it by themselves, most difficult is really that they do it teaching to the young people. And one of the things whenever I have to work with young people is, listen, today if you are a soprano, there is thousands. Really thousands. Whenever there is an audition, don't think you will get up, put your makeup, your wonderful dress, sing your aria, and they will really fall down on your feet. It will be not like that, because you will arrive to a hall full of sopranos, really, really singing better than you, like you, or worse than you. But you have at least 200. 300 every time we have an audition for a theater production is something like that. You will be much more lucky if there is a modern audition, I mean for a modern opera, and if you are prepared for that, that's your door to come into this business.
Okay.
So it's a good opportunity for young singers to consider to go that way to help them through. Okay, I think we have our other guest we have to introduce. Right?
Yes. Thank you very much. We will get back to you.
We'll get back to you soon, and we'll talk about more interesting things.
Yes, but before we announce our second guest, let's hear one of our final contestants on the international voice competition, Boris Martinovich. She's coming from Italy. She's Italian soprano, and she became very well known in Italy, performing as a guest on the concerts of Andrea Bocelli all around Europe. Her name is Francesca Maionchi, and she will be singing typical bel canto repertoire: Puccini, La Bohème, Donde lieta uscì, aria da Mimì. I hope you will enjoy.
Okay.
Sola
Well, that was wonderful. Francesca Maionchi, one of the contestants of the International Voice Competition, Boris Martinovich. Now I'm very, very happy to introduce you to our second guest. She's also wonderful female artist, wonderful piano player, vocal coach, and general director of one very interesting opera company that we will introduce today. She is an accomplished pianist as well as distinguished professional opera and vocal coach. She was vocal coach for the State Academy of Bolshoi Opera for more than 10 years, where she worked internationally with novel conductors, producers, and singers. She's living in the United States since 1996 and was one of the founders of New Community Opera Theatre in Charlotte when she was music director. She's founder and general and artistic director of Bel Cantanti Opera Company. Her work was highly acclaimed by Joe McClellan, the late classical music critic emeritus of the Washington Post, who said, Katerina Suvorova is pianist of international stature and vocal coach of extraordinary talent. We can credit her with a high level of skill, both in music and in human relations. I'm very happy and very honored to present you our second guest, Madam Katerina Suvorova. Welcome. Hello, welcome.
Thank you, guys.
Welcome, Katerina.
Yeah,
welcome.
Thank you very much, Boris and Diane.
How are you?
I'm very good.
How is in the United States now regarding COVID? We've heard that the situation is much better than normally.
I think we should not talk about COVID. It will take too long, I believe.
Yeah. We are still sitting at home, most of us, but there's some light at the end of the tunnel. And also, hopefully, soon we will have to be able to perform live, hopefully.
Yes. Well, I've read some wonderful critics about your work and your theater and your opera theater company and everything that you are doing with your company. And I wanted to ask you several questions about it. What inspired you to start opera company in the United States? And was it difficult to establish it? And if you can tell us a little bit more about the work that you are doing there.
Okay.
So a lot of questions.
It's a lot of questions in one. So I will try to get as many answers to it as I can in my response. Yeah. So yes, I am actually a professional pianist and coach. And before coming to America in 1996, I worked for 10 years in opera house in Minsk in Belarus. So then my husband got his job in America, so we just went like that with my family. Yes, so and we came to America. Of course, neither of us spoke any English, so we were very kind of scared, to be honest, because you have to communicate with people, and all you hear picking up the phone is Madame Suvorova, and then so you put this phone and run down. So that was scary. So we had to start learning English, learning to be able to communicate. And it was in Charlotte, North Carolina at that time. And what I figured out, of course, first, what is opera like? You know, what is opera theater in Charlotte is doing. And they were doing Tosca. And I remember my happiness about it because I was a leading coach in our theater of Tosca, and I used to know it by memory, everything, words, music, whatever. And I thought, okay, America is ready for me. So here I'm going to the theater and will introduce myself. And I came to the theater and I found out that actually theater is not not operating. So they're waiting for this Tosca to happen in, say, 2-3 months, when they will have the singers, come and they will rehearse for 2-3 weeks, and then will perform 4-5 performances, and then they split, and nothing again is going on until the next opera. And it was so very different from what I experienced, because I worked in opera house, which functioned for 360 days, every day, and that was my life. And very soon I understood that kind of nobody needs me here. That was a big disappointment. And so I thought, so what can I do? I have to start something myself, pretty much. And that's what I did. And I started this company, involving the singers who were surrounding me as a coach. Yes, so that's what also I understood, living a little bit longer, in a few more months, that in America, unfortunately, the situation with singers is very different than in Europe. Okay, so I used to work in conservatory as well, back to my country, and used to work with the singers all the time. And teachers who were singing in the vocal department were the singers who were performing in the opera house at the same time. So when they had a good singer, good student, let's say, they would introduce the student for the auditions in the opera house. And if the student is good, he will transfer practically seamlessly to the opera house. This is very different from here. Mm-hmm. So I know a lot of singers who are in conservatories, in universities, who have wonderful voices. But if they're not lucky, after graduating from their conservatories, let's say, to win the competition, let's say voice competition, or get a manager, or somehow be introduced to the people who can promote them, they end up teaching or singing. The best luck is in the choir of the opera companies, like Washington Opera or Metropolitan Opera. It's a choir. And that's pretty much it. And that's what I thought, why don't I try something on very small scale, not getting big and famous, but try to give these young students an opportunity to actually sing, to actually perform, to build their repertoire, and that was the reason why we started. We started first with the big concert where we did, like, I don't remember, last act of Traviata and first act of Rigoletto. And then we started with promoting, doing some small operas first, finding the people who would be interested in supporting us, in designers, people on the stage, and so on and so on. And of course, this was very important, and it's for singers to sing, this is invaluable. So before they come and sing in front of the big audiences, which many of them did actually from after us, they have to try the art. They have to be able to sing in small, intimate place in front of the people who came to see them. And when you have people audience sitting like 5-10 meters from you, from the stage, it's pretty intimidating, to have, for example, Lucia's Med sing and have person looking straight into your throat. But it is important, and learning and coaching them for this, learning them how to express themselves, being artists. That's what the way I chose for myself and for my group. So that's how we started.
So how many operas now have you done so far?
Oh my God! There were some years, there were some seasons where I did 10 per season, per year. Okay, 10 operas. There were some when I did 3-4. But I would say right now it's 18th year of our existence. I would say maybe, I don't know, maybe 80, 90, something like that. And the also good thing about my group is that I intentionally didn't want to make it big. So, because being in my group, it's the way to express what I think, what I feel, and to choose repertoire which I want, to choose the singers which I want, and the way of doing music the way I would prefer. So it has some minuses because we're not wow big, but at the same time, we're good.
Yeah.
How
So
many
that's pretty much
how many
it.
rehearsals do you have with the singers?
It depends. It depends on the opera. It
Right.
also depends on the way where I'm getting singers from. So
okay.
if I, for example, get singers from Texas or from, I don't know, from wherever, from far away, they come for 3 weeks to Washington, D.C. We very intensely rehearse every day, many hours. Then we have a tech week, and then we have 2 weeks of production.
Okay.
That's what it is.
And
but I cast people
you accept
from
people from Europe as well, all over the world. It doesn't have to be just American.
yes.
Okay.
It is possible. It's a little bit more expensive and if people coming here and they're able to have their visa situation taken, care about, there's a lot of stuff. But yes, it's fine. It's fine. I'm trying to use as many different singers as possible every time.
So tell her, what are you planning now next? What are the operas that maybe some young singers would like to be involved and come and join you? That's what I'm trying to find out from you.
Yeah, right now we are way kind of like we're sitting 1 year right now in our houses. Yes,
of course.
So
I know the situation.
We actually closed. We closed.
But when it opens up,
it will open. I'm planning it not earlier than the fall.
Okay.
September, October of 2021. And the problem is that you have to make sure that people can rehearse. Then they be in contact. So I hope that's why I cannot not yet sure. I hope that the COVID is going down, people get vaccinated, and we would be able to start. The plan is Don Pasquale so far. So where I'm trying to think about doing something with smaller cast to see to limit the contact of people with each other. Yeah, so that's
and very often you will choose some Russian operas, which is very interesting. Are you planning to do any Russian operas soon?
Oh yes, of course. We've done about 10 Russian operas from last years, and some of them were actually American premieres. Because we do have, of course, a lot of Russian operas performed in Russia, of course. And being myself a Russian coach, I am very interested in having a Russian opera every season in my company. So far we've performed 5 operas by Rimsky-Korsakov, whom I love. We had
wonderful.
Yes. Yeah, we had 2. Yes, we did. We did Sadko, for example. We did Tsar's Bride. We did Snow Maiden. And Tchaikovsky, of course, Eugene Onegin, of course, Iolanta. Yes, I've done Ruslan and Ludmila. So I've done Aleko, for example, Rachmaninoff's opera.
That's beautiful. I know it.
It's beautiful, of course. So, for example, when we did Sadko, I did not realize what trouble I was in because there is no orchestra score available in the United States for Sadko.
Oh, yes, and get the parts.
And I was just like, oh, God, what do I do? And I got so discouraged. Yeah, I told singers, guy, we probably are going to do it with the piano. I don't know how to get the orchestra score. And then one guy, he said, okay, let me try. And he found only one orchestra score in Lincoln Library in New York. And he sat down. It was an 1890 Belayev score, old Russian score. And he sat down and he took picture with his phone of every page. And there is 570 pages there.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
It was crazy, but we decided to do it, and we decided that, okay, we're doing it. So that's what we did.
Okay, let's hear one very interesting clip of what your performances of everything that you were talking with us now.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
Very nice.
Russian drama.
yeah, wonderful. Yeah. So this was a
Everybody
clip.
dies.
Yeah. So this was a clip that you sent me, and can you tell us a little bit more about what was it exactly?
That was actually one of the latest operas by Rimsky-Korsakov called The Tsar's Bride.
Mhm.
And we actually did this opera on East Coast. I think it was in 2018. And we were second who did it, because first time I did Mstislav Rostropovich in WNO in Washington Opera in 1992. So that's we did it. So it's, of course, it is, it's Russian operas are very provoking. They're very full. So you have to be careful with the younger singers not to make them scream.
Yes.
And that's why it's important for us to keep it condensed, keep it, reduced orchestration, and make it healthy for singers. So
Yeah. And you are also one of the, if not the only one, the one of the few opera companies who has a Russian opera repertoire in the United States. Or am I right?
Yes. I think, I do not know another opera company. Maybe they exist, I don't know, but that have a fully staged production every year, every season. And that's, some groups are doing concert performances, yes, workshops, but this one is a little bit different, because it's hard to explain what Russian opera is until you have a woman with this beautiful Russian dress, and it's hard to explain, for example, what is the Tsar's Bride, which is the story of 15th century of Ivan the Terrible. So when you give introduce singers to the opera, you explain a lot and you share a lot of Russian traditions and a lot of Russian culture and a lot of Russian history. And that's my pleasure to do. So it's not only singing, but it's a lot of everything around. It's a lot about Russia, so that's beautiful, and I love it. Yes.
And there is no simple
really
opera.
remarkable job. There's
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, Boris, please.
I wanted to say there is no simple Russian opera. All of them are very complicated. I had the pleasure to record 4 of the greatest operas for Sony Classical, and the first one was Prince Igor, then even Susanin, Eugene Onegin, and Boris Godunov, and they are the most incredible operas, especially for me, which they are the all title parts. And
yes.
I'm going to give a special concert next year, maybe even this year. We're discussing to sing all those operas in my arias and duets, some of the duets, to expose in an all Russian program with full big orchestras.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful! It's incredible. We love our bases. Yes, so.
Good.
What I want to know next is when you work with the singers. Once you told me in one of our conversations before the show, you told me how you don't like to give Verdi's repertoire to young singers. Can you explain to us why? And why I mean, we are going now in the field of vocal pedagogy and vocal technique, which I think that will be also very interesting for young singers to hear.
Of course. It's not like I don't like to give Verdi to young singers, not. But you have to be careful with Verdi. Verdi, think about Don Carlo, think about Aida, think about Turandot. Oh my gosh, I'm going to Puccini, sorry. So it's a big...
but it is very difficult. They are not for young singers, that's for sure.
Yes, so I tried twice, and we've done Traviata, of course, and we've done Rigoletto, but before doing Rigoletto, I told my board of members, so I said, we cannot do Rigoletto until we have Rigoletto, so that was, and somebody sponsored us with a young singer who could do it. Actually, I actually did it twice. Yeah, I forgot now. But I will tell you a funny story about Verdi. When I came to the theater to work as a coach and pianist in opera house back in Russia, my very first Verdi opera was Un ballo in maschera. And I love this opera dearly. I love it so much. I learned the score first, so it's very special for me. So all this time I had a dream to do Un ballo, yes. And once I thought, okay, let me try. And I announced auditions, and singers started coming and auditioning. And after a few days of auditions, I realized that I just cannot hear any voice which would be satisfactory for Riccardo, for Renato, and for Amelia, of course. And most of people I'm hearing are maybe Oscars and so on. And I very soon understood that if I want to do something for young singers, which is what I'm doing, I have to be careful. Because if I'm doing Un ballo, the age of singers from 20, 25 will raise into 45, 40. And that's not exactly what I'm doing. So I did, Barbara Seville instead.
Yeah.
And much easier.
It's a clever choice for young singers, definitely.
Yes. It's hard because it's not only full of emotions. You have to be a mature person to sing.
Yeah.
Even comparing with Puccini, you can go with La Bohème, but it's young singers, it's young emotions, it's a lyric approach, yes? But Verdi stands very, very strong in everything, in voice, in technique, in emotional maturity, So, of course, if you think Aida, you have like almost 100 people on stage. So you have to be able, this Aida have to be able to be heard. Let's say, over the pit. And so it's harder. So that's I love Verdi, but that's not what I would go willingly, easily.
Yes, we understand you. All right.
I think we should bring our Gabriela back with us.
Okay. Yeah. Hello,
welcome
Gabriela,
back.
again. Welcome back. It's good to have you all here. So you are both jury members of the International Voice Competition Boris Martinovich. And I wanted to ask you both, what do you think are competitions important for young singers? And if your answer is yes, why do you think that competitions are important?
Gabriela, do you want to start?
Please go ahead. First, I wanted to congratulate you really from the deep of my heart for all the work you are doing for young singers. Really, it's amazing. I was full of ecstasies.
Thank you. Thank you for helping us and for supporting us. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you want to go first, Gabriela?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Me? Oh, okay. Okay, so yes, of course, I think that competition is important for young singer, especially. And because of the reasons, the main reason which I would accept is to be heard, to be known, to be exposed to people, especially here in America, when we have tons of singers, and it's very hard to be selected. And unfortunately, it depends in many ways on the future of the singer, young singer. If he got heard, or, somebody heard it, I can tell you just a little one more thing. It's not about the competition, but how important it is to be heard by people in the good time. I had a very good mezzo soprano who was Canadian. And, she sang with me, and then she moved back to Canada to work, to sing with different companies. And once she was practicing in the practice room, just working on her voice, and somebody walked in the corridor and heard her, and so he opened the door and said, "Do you want to audition for Paris Opera?" And that was like that. It's like Cinderella story, and do you speak French? Yes, I do. Of course she does. And do you want to audition? And that's what happened. Now she's done, the Hansel last year, I think, in Garnier, and she sang in La Scala, she sings at the Met. Now, but that's how important. And if he would not come around, so she would be another good mezzo soprano.
Yes.
And there's so many of those who didn't get lucky. So guys, I commend you for introducing these voices to people. It's very important.
Yes, definitely. And how do you see, that is also a question for both of you. How do you see the future of opera, both classical opera and contemporary opera? What is the future of the opera from your point of view?
Gabriela,
now it's you.
Well, why all the difficult questions come to me? Well, let's say I'm an optimistic person, and I want to believe that after this debacle that currently affects humanity, and we know what I am speaking about, the future of the opera will help immensely to return humanistic values that are necessary for a good balance of the people.
Great. Thank you. That's true.
Absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We need that. If not, really, we go to hell.
Yes. Thank you, Gabriela. Katerina?
I absolutely agree. People need music. People need opera. And right now we're doing some recording kind of like recording of the operas and concerts and something. It's as much as we enjoy doing it, it's not the same. Of course, when you have people in the hall, when you have people who hear the voice and get so affected by
and
it,
feel the energy and the emotions. Yeah,
it's so important. And we miss it. We miss it as performers. They miss it as the actors. And it's very, very, very much. It's precious. We had I'm telling you stories here nonstop. We had once we did Lucia di Lammermoor. And the girl who was singing Lucia was singing the Metzing. And, we're performing in small places. We're performing in the halls of 200-300 people. So people sometimes sit very close to the artist. So the first row is maybe 3 meters or 4 meters from Lucia, who is dying there. I mean, in her cadences there. And and of course, orchestra, we are sitting there and just, flutist working. We are just enjoying the thing.
And hoping that she dies very quick.
And with we're watching and enjoying it, and suddenly I see the old guy. He was about 80 years old, who was sitting in first row. He falls straight on his face on the floor, and I jumped because I thought, oh my gosh, he died. Something. So what do we do now? And so. And poor Lucia who kept singing. I had to command her, So what happened actually? This guy lay there for a few seconds, then he got up back in his chair and he sat down and he continued hearing it, listening. what happened was amazing because he got so drawn into the drama that he went like that and he lost balance and he just fell on his face, and it was kind of arena space. So we have stage and then raked hole, and so he just fell right at the feet of Lucia.
Oh my God.
So, but that's what I mean, not because it's anecdotal, of course, but because this makes opera life. It is really life, and people really need it. They need to feel this emotion, clearing their hearts and just their minds, because we're all right now getting a little bit crazy here after 1 year of
being locked down.
Yes.
I told you before, Boris, in opera, everything happens every time.
Always.
Absolutely, yes. And is there any message that you would like to share to our young singers and contestants of the competition?
Who wants to go?
I would say, don't be afraid. It's a big opportunity, even if you will not be the winner. I hope you will be. But even if you are not the winner, you will learn a lot, because just from watching the others, just getting critics, because if the critic is constructive, is a real help. And just having another experience, because you are fight for your dreams. If this way of life, if being an opera singer is your dream, fight for it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very good. Very good.
Wonderful. Thank you.
The only thing what I can add to this, absolutely agree with Gabriela. Always try to find your voice, your real voice, your real self, because especially when competition is big, you hear somebody in front of you, you hear somebody behind you, you're just like, oh my gosh, am I good enough? Oh gosh, he's better. Oh my God, he sounds so amazing. Always try to be true to yourself and know that you're worth a lot, that you are important. And never forget that your voice is what makes singer incredible, comparing with piano player when we work our muscles here. It goes straight from your soul, from your heart. It has your pulse. It has your amazing color. It's you who is there, and stay yourself as long as you possibly can in your life.
I think this is very helpful for the young singers.
Yes.
And I think we are going over time again, but doesn't matter. We had a wonderful time with Katarina and Gabriela.
Thank you very much for being here.
We are very happy
Thank you.
to have you, and we will continue our friendships to be continued, as they say. And for your Russian operas, I would love to come and help you in maybe some production that I'll direct. I've been directing, by the way.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. We'll talk about it. Yes.
We can talk about it. How to help some of the younger singers as well in the process.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
That's I think it's important that we give and help the young people and give them a chance to improve and to go on and hopefully become stars. This is where everyone who is a singer wants to be a star, doesn't. I don't think I've met one who didn't want to. But anyway. But it's very important, that what you said just before is that each voice is unique. So and think about being yourself and how to get the best of you to be exposed to the others.
Yes. Thank you very much once again for being with us here. I wish you all the best in your future performances, and I'm so looking forward to our next opportunity to talk to you or maybe to work with you one day. So
wonderful.
Ladies and gentlemen, these were Gabriela de Esteban and Dr. Katarina Sovorova. And we've come to the end of second episode of the Opera Chat with Martinovich couple. We hope you had a nice time, because we had a wonderful time. For the end, we are going to hear another final round contestant of the International Voice Competition, Boris Martinovich. That is Rafael Pierno, Italian tenor, who is currently based in Australia. See you next Sunday at 6 p.m. with our new guests. We wish you happy Sunday and wonderful, healthy, positive, full of love week. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye all.
Colpito qui m'avete, o mia gelosa cielo, il più puro palpitar dell'anima. Or vedrete, fanciulla, vuoi prema, la parola, amor, qui causa di scherzo. Un Dio sullo spazio guardai profondo, e ai grati colmi di miele, io levai le scale e folgorai il mondo, pare alla terra un mare pesar, e a lei serviva di scrigna il firmamento. Fu dalla terra la mia fronte veniva una carezza viva, un bacio, grida inno d'amore. Fu che mi baci divinamente bella, figlia mia. E volli bien d'amore pregar, varcai in una chiesa una soglia, l'ambre delle nicchie dei santi e della Vergine a tua Madoni. E al sottrecchio un trono bagnardo in un mano chiede la pane e in mar stendi la mano. Varcai degli abituri l'uscio, l'uomo mi calunniava e segnava il suolo. Era l'odio appena sazia, e contro a Dio sbagliava, e contro agli uomini, le lacrime dei figli. Vinca tanta miseria la patrizia grave, che fa sull'occhio vostro esprime umanamente qui un guardo di pietà, non Dio guardato a voi.